Ownership and stewardship exist to define accountability for data and assets, ensuring that protection, quality, and usability are not left to chance.
In complex organizations, information flows across many systems and teams, and without clear accountability, it becomes unclear who can decide how data is used or protected.
Ownership answers the question of who is accountable for decisions, while stewardship answers the question of who ensures data is managed correctly day to day. These roles are not interchangeable, and confusing them leads to gaps where no one feels responsible for outcomes.
Clear ownership and stewardship create a structure where decisions are intentional and traceable rather than assumed.
When accountability is explicit, data becomes a managed asset instead of an unmanaged byproduct.
Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to the CISS books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Owners are responsible for determining classification, acceptable use, and retention requirements because they understand the business value and risk associated with the data or asset. Classification decisions reflect the potential harm from disclosure, alteration, or loss, and owners are best positioned to weigh those consequences.
Acceptable use defines how data may be processed, shared, or analyzed in support of business objectives without exceeding risk tolerance.
Retention requirements balance operational need, legal obligation, and risk exposure, ensuring data is kept only as long as justified.
These decisions shape downstream controls and handling rules, making ownership a foundational governance function. Without owner involvement, classification and retention often drift toward convenience rather than necessity. Owners also approve access based on business need and role responsibilities, reinforcing accountability for who can use sensitive data. Access approval is not merely an administrative step because it represents a conscious decision to extend trust. Owners evaluate whether requested access aligns with job duties and whether alternative approaches could meet the need with less exposure. This role prevents access decisions from being made solely by technical teams without business context. Periodic review of access ensures that approvals remain appropriate as roles change. When owners actively participate in access decisions, privilege sprawl is reduced and accountability is preserved. Stewards focus on managing data quality, definitions, and consistent use across teams, ensuring that information remains reliable and meaningful. Data quality includes accuracy, completeness, timeliness, and consistency, all of which affect decision-making and operational outcomes. Stewards define how data elements should be interpreted and used, preventing divergent meanings from emerging in different departments. Consistency matters because conflicting definitions undermine trust and create inefficiency. Stewardship is ongoing work rather than a one-time task because data quality degrades without attention. When stewardship is strong, data becomes a dependable foundation rather than a source of confusion. Custodians operate the technical controls, storage platforms, and access mechanisms that enforce owner and steward decisions. This role includes configuring systems, managing permissions, maintaining backups, and ensuring that platforms operate securely and reliably. Custodians do not decide what data should be used for or who should have access, but they implement those decisions accurately. Their effectiveness depends on clear requirements and well-defined processes, because ambiguity leads to inconsistent enforcement. Custodians also generate much of the evidence used to demonstrate control operation.
Clear separation between custodial operation and ownership decision-making supports both security and accountability.
Separating responsibilities among owners, stewards, and custodians reduces conflicts and clarifies decision authority, especially when trade-offs arise. Owners focus on business value and risk acceptance. Stewards focus on quality and consistency, and custodians focus on technical execution. When these roles are combined without clarity, individuals may be forced to make decisions outside their authority or expertise. Separation also provides checks and balances, reducing the likelihood that convenience or bias drives outcomes.
This structure supports escalation when disagreements occur because authority boundaries are known.
Clear separation improves both governance discipline and operational efficiency.
Data governance councils often exist to coordinate standards, definitions, and enterprise-wide consistency across ownership boundaries. These councils bring together representatives from business units, technology, security, and compliance to align approaches. Their role is not to manage individual data sets, but to establish shared frameworks that owners and stewards apply locally. Councils help resolve conflicts between teams and prevent fragmentation of standards. They also provide a forum for addressing cross-cutting issues like classification schemes, retention policy, and quality thresholds. When governance councils function well, they reduce duplication and promote coherent enterprise practices. Data dictionaries support stewardship by defining data fields, meaning, and permitted values, creating shared understanding across systems and teams. Without agreed definitions, the same term can mean different things in different contexts, leading to errors and misinterpretation. Dictionaries document what each field represents, how it should be populated, and how it relates to other data elements. This documentation supports integration, reporting, and analytics by reducing ambiguity. It also accelerates onboarding and collaboration because new users can learn data meaning without informal explanation. Well-maintained dictionaries are a practical tool for sustaining data quality over time. Data lineage documents where data originates and how it transforms as it moves through systems, providing visibility into dependencies and impact. Lineage shows which sources feed downstream reports, models, or decisions, and how transformations affect meaning. This visibility is critical when investigating quality issues, incidents, or regulatory inquiries. Lineage also supports change management by showing which downstream uses may be affected by upstream changes. Without lineage, organizations struggle to assess impact and often over- or underreact to issues. Stewardship that includes lineage documentation improves resilience and confidence in data-driven decisions. Stewardship also includes monitoring for quality issues, duplication, and unauthorized usage, ensuring that data remains trustworthy and compliant. Monitoring identifies anomalies such as unexpected values, missing fields, or inconsistent updates that signal underlying problems. Duplication increases risk and cost by expanding the attack surface and complicating retention and deletion. Unauthorized usage may indicate policy violations or emerging insider risk that requires attention. Stewards coordinate with owners and custodians to address findings and adjust controls as needed. Proactive monitoring prevents small issues from becoming systemic failures. Owners play a critical role when controls cannot fully meet requirements because they must address risk acceptance decisions consciously. Constraints such as legacy systems, cost, or operational complexity sometimes prevent ideal control implementation. In these cases, owners evaluate residual risk and decide whether it fits within tolerance. Documenting acceptance ensures that risk is visible and that accountability is clear if consequences occur. Owners also review acceptance decisions periodically, recognizing that changes in context may alter risk posture. This role prevents silent acceptance and reinforces governance discipline. Responsibilities extend beyond internal teams when third parties process or store data on the organization's behalf. Owners remain accountable for how data is used and protected, even when operations are outsourced. This requires ensuring that vendor contracts, controls, and oversight align with internal requirements.
Stewards may work with vendors to maintain data quality and consistency, while custodians coordinate technical integration and access control. Clear assignment of responsibility prevents assumptions that vendors manage risk independently.
Extending ownership and stewardship principles to third parties preserves accountability across organizational boundaries.
Accountability depends on records that document approvals, reviews, and changes over time, providing evidence of responsible governance. Records show who approved classification, access, and retention decisions and when those decisions were made. They also capture changes to definitions, controls, and ownership assignments. This history supports audits, investigations, and continuous improvement by preserving context. Without records, accountability erodes because decisions cannot be reconstructed reliably. Consistent documentation reinforces trust in the governance model.
In conclusion, clear ownership and stewardship roles ensure that data remains protected, trusted, and usable throughout its lifecycle. Owners provide business-driven decisions about value, risk, and access, while stewards maintain quality and consistency across use cases. Custodians enforce decisions through reliable technical controls. Separation of responsibilities creates clarity and reduces conflict, supported by governance councils and shared documentation.
Extending these roles to third parties preserves accountability beyond organizational boundaries.
When ownership and stewardship are explicit and practiced consistently, data governance becomes durable rather than dependent on individual effort.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.